closer than we would have ever imagined. Fellow countrymen, it will be a traversary of justice if I begin tonight's presentation without giving us an opportunity to pay homage to one of the greatest in our midst, to pay homage to some of the greatest who've paid the ultimate price in the most gruesome, the most wicked, the most barbaric, and the most primitive way. We cannot stop paying homage to the victims of the senseless Fiango Kumba massacre. May we please observe a minute of silence as we continue to mourn our children. It is hard to say it, but may the souls of these poor little children rest in perfect peace. I read a report by Al Jazeera. When this poor little kid left home, this poor little kid said, "Daddy, I'm going to school. I'm going to school to study for my future." The father, a man of God, could not believe it when he heard news of this senseless attack around noon on the 24th of October 2020. As reports hold it, by men either dressed in civilian clothing or dressed in military or police uniforms, arriving on motorbikes or on using an unmarked car, storming the school with machetes and guns. Fellow Amazonians, we will never get over this. We will never forget this. We will never forgive the perpetrators of this wicked, wicked terrorist act. It is the most painful. This just brings tears and horrific pain. It brings in mind the picture of Garbo. Garbo, where children were massacred like animals. Young boys and men were massacred like animals. The unthinkable, 2 pregnant women were brutally slain by Cameroon soldiers. In our culture, you all know that when an animal is pregnant, it cannot be killed. It is sacrilege. The pain of our fellow brothers and sisters, innocent civilians burnt alive in Bali, in Moyoka, are still alive. The memories are still very fresh. We have seen our own hanging from the ceiling dead, littered out on the floor dead. In Pinyin, is still so alive. Fellow country people, fellow Amazonians, when we choose to visit or join the wicked nation of French Cameroon, when we were forced to join, when we were forced to vote, when the Manfred Conference of 1959, where our people demanded for an independent free state of the Southern Cameroons, when the voices of our people were ignored, and we were forced to either jump into the Red Sea or jump into the Atlantic Ocean, jump into fire or jump into the deepest well. We had no choice. At that time, we thought we were choosing the lesser of the two evils. Today, as we speak, are killing our people. Right now, as we speak, the French Cameroon terrorist soldiers are raping our sisters, raping our mothers, raping our children. Oh my God, it's actually on. Let's see. How much of it had run? Was it going or it almost did not go? Okay. My voice still relaying to the nation and our listeners. Can you? Okay. I'm going to take the webcam off and use that of the laptop. Let me know if it's fine. Can you see it now? It's better now. All right. So I think what I've got to do here. Okay, that's fine. I'm not sure how much of that speech had gone through. Do we repeat that? Am I live as we speak?
You can just continue from where you stopped, Comrade Milton. You are still live.
All right. Thank you so much. My dear people, sorry for that interruption. Technology being a challenge here. The pain of our people is very deep. I'm here talking on behalf of every single family in the southern Cameroons. We understand your pain. I have personally lost very dear family members, civilians, slaughtered in the most gruesome of ways anybody can imagine. Those are not images any of us will ever forget. My dear people, as we continue to mourn the victims of Kumba, the interim government sends messages of condolence to the parents of these poor little children, to the families of these poor little children, to the school community, to the community of Cape Town, to every single Amazonian. As we speak right now, La Republic continues to ignore the call of the United Nations Secretary General that countries should concentrate their efforts to fight the deadly coronavirus pandemic. Our people continue to be slaughtered on a daily basis. We would like to remind La Republique du Cameroon that we were not conquered at war. We will not be conquered in this generation. Over the last 4 years, it should be more than abundantly clear that at any point, La Republique believes that they are winning the war. Something happens and it becomes so evident that the military option was a foolish option, was a senseless option, was a primitive option, and that option can only further push the people of the southern Cameroon away from this despotic and wicked regime. If La Republic doubts it, the statistics must speak for itself. When Christian Cardinal Tumi ran his survey last year, September 2019, the results were eloquent. Right at your monologue or national La République du Cameroun political dialogue, he presented the results. 69% of the people of the southern Cameroons made it abundantly clear that we want a nation back. We want a complete divorce with La République du Cameroon. We are for total independence, total unconditional, unnegotiable independence. Mr. Paul Biya, 1 year after that, our proud and illustrious brothers, sisters, fathers, and mothers in the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonian Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations again carried out an open and transparent survey. This time around, statistics, it's almost 20% on the upside. At least 86% of Ambazonians want nothing to do with La République du Cameroon. About 86% of Ambazonians or more want total independence. They support the restoration of the people of the Southern Cameroons. The message is now abundantly clear. We have no doubt that for every house burnt by La République du Cameroon, for every Ambazonian child, mother, father, school child killed by La République du Cameroon, the statistics jumps up to the next percentile. We cannot believe how senseless, how cannibalistic the Yaoundé regime is. And we must state it on record that Yaoundé is completely accountable for every single atrocity that happens in the Southern Cameroons. Yaoundé is directly accountable. Mr. Paul Biya is directly accountable. Mr. Paul Biya is charged for the Kumba massacre. Mr. Paul Biya is directly responsible for Ngabo, for Bali, for Pingin, for Moyoka. Mr. Paul Biya is directly accountable. He is directly accountable because he chose the route of insanity, uncivility, of slaughter, of murder, of killing in modern time, as opposed to the right choice, which is the choice of dialogue. My dear people, we will prevail. All we ask as the interim government is that statistics must continuously be kept of all atrocities the colonizer, the occupier, La République du Cameroon continues to perpetrate in our land. Today, we saw what happened in Bali. 3 young men, civilians, were brutally slain. More than 6 bikes belonging to different families, bikes that are more or less the economic power of those families, were burned down by the colonial, brutal, wicked, bearish French Cameroon government. We have this to tell Mr. Biya. You and your country will account for all of these crimes against humanity, for all of these war crimes. You will pay reparations. You unfortunately will not be able to bring back the lives of our people stolen. But we assure you, we assure the terrorists, military, gendarmes, and police bees who continue to carry out these acts, that we have a book open for you. You will account. You will account down to the last act you out. So if you have wisdom, you better stop. This war will end and you will pay very dearly for your cannibalistic crimes. My dear people, I love this moment for a very special moment of silence. We've lost one of the greatest in our midst. The SCNC is mourning, and by extension, Ambazonia is mourning. On the 5th of January 2018, the unthinkable happened. Our leaders were kidnapped and forcefully taken into colonial Cameroon. Amongst them was the SCNC national chairman, Pa Fofongala. Pa Fofongala, unfortunately, lost one of the greatest supporters of the Ambazonian restoration movement, Ma Winto Mbebu, mother to Pa Ngala Fo. Mama dreamed of one day seeing a free Ambazonia. Mama dreamed of seeing her children, you and me, rise up one day to fight for the liberation of her homeland. Mama joins Molanjo Litumbe, Albert Mukong, Chief Ayamba, and all the others as a proud warrior of our liberation struggle. Mama goes to tell them that the children are determined, the children are focused, and they are unshakable. Ma Winto Mbebu, the people of Ambazonia salute you. Mama, we say farewell. Mama, we say rest in power. You will always be remembered as one of the mothers whose wombs were so blessed, who delivered one of the greatest in our midst. Rest in power, Mama. Rest in power. And to all our restoration forces who have lost lives, to all our civilians slaughtered by this wicked regime, rest in power. You will never be forgotten. You will never be forgotten. The pain of families cannot be taken away. But we assure you that we will take the course to the logical end. This is a never again generation that will never give up until we see freedom. My dear people, let us observe a minute of silence for Ma Winto Mbebu, for all our restoration forces slaughtered by this wicked regime, beginning with General Ayeke and the others, for all civilians, including our children again. Minute of silence, please. May the souls of these giants in our midst rest in perfect power. My dear people, I now turn attention to what happened from the 30th of October to yesterday, the 1st of November. It was the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations. It was #ACD. It was the illustrious and proud sons of Ambazonia, the Southern Cameroons. It was one of the finest, one of the bravest, some of the most educated Ambazonians, some of the most patriotic Ambazonians. Ma Judith, we heard your cry. We heard your cry. I was in tears when I listened to you. I want to repeat Ma Judith's words to the nation. Ma Judith's words were, you cannot sit on the fence. How can you sit on the fence when our people are being killed on a daily basis? How can you sit on the fence when little school children just born, grandmothers and fathers, people you know, your village people, your quarter people, your neighbors are being killed on a daily basis? And as Ma Judith spoke, she could not hold her tears. Ma Judith will celebrate you. This celebration goes not only to Ma Judith, but to those that conceived this wonderful engine for the liberation in the name of the Amazonian Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations. This celebration goes to all patriotic leaders of our struggle who heeded to the call of these illustrious sons and daughters of the Southern Cameroons to be part of this wonderful conference that took place over 3 days. This thanks, special salutations and appreciations, it goes to all Amazonians, especially Amazonians on ground zero, those in detention facilities, those on ground 1, and those on ground 2, who sacrificed time not only to be part of this conference, but to participate. I remember the ex-vice president from Bafut saying, we can never have anything to do with these wicked people. I remember him saying, once La Republique stops our people and they ask, where's your identity card? If you don't produce it, they shoot you immediately. When they give us your phone and you take out your SIM card, they shoot you immediately. We from the interim government celebrate the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation, most importantly, for bringing back the spirit of the people of the Southern Cameroons. That which says we can differ, but we must be respectful, we must be responsible, and we must be disciplined. I initially got frustrated that unionists and federalists were brought in. But the more I listened to the debates, with special salutations to Bank of Amazonia, Governor Dr. Ako Asana, the more I listened to the events of day one, the more I truly realized that our revolution has been poisoned by some extremely dangerous seeds over the last 2 years in particular, 2 to 3 years, especially from 2018. I remember vividly the words of President Sisiko Ayoktabe that Ambazonia has 3 categories of human species. There are those that have eaten the crumbs from La Republique so much that they feel it is so impossible to leave the colonizer. These are unionists. There are others who are called apologists. They go around campaigning for federation even after Mr. Paul Biya or his ministers or his representatives have never talked about federation. These apologists go around pretending they love Cameroon, knowing fully well they're lying to themselves. The Ambazonian Coalition of Dialogue did a wonderful thing to bring Ni John Free, to bring Munzu, to bring Barrister Bala and the like, so that they come and sit and listen to the gospel of restoration and liberation. So that they come and listen to the gospel of liberation, the gospel of independence, the gospel of taking charge of our future. That is the Ambazonian spirit. We from the interim government salute the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations. We appreciate them and we uphold them. It takes great leadership and discipline to do the right thing. The Coalition of Dialogue and Negotiations were not interested in the dirty, stinking politics on social media. They knew what was right. They worked quietly in committees and the work was evident. They didn't end by just talking to ourselves like Ambazonian groups have been doing. Brought the best of the best, the very best of the best, great champions of our liberation struggle from Europe, the United States of America, and other African nations, ex-presidents and diplomats, journalists and humanitarian champions, to come and talk to our people and inspire them. Above all, the coalition released a powerful document rooted in statistics, the language the international community understands. My dear people, let us give credit to where it is due. The Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation has brought back the revolution onto its rails. The Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation has rekindled the Ambazonian spirit in a lot of people. The Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation has brought to bear a platform that says, if you believe in the Ambazonian dream, don't sit on the fence. Find work to do. Forget about these senseless positions. Forget about this thing where people begin to forget it's about Ambazonia and they start defending organizations. The Coalition for Dialogue says we are not interested in leadership. We are not interested in positions. We are interested in strategy. We're interested in work, and we're interested in results. We say thank you. We give you our undivided commitment and attention, and we know without doubt you are a great stakeholder in the liberation of our people. We know without doubt you will open more and more unbelievable windows. We ask the people of Ambazonia to support the coalition because the coalition is the solution for freedom. My dear people, as the interim government works with the Coalition for Dialogue, as the interim tripartite alliance partners, the consortium, AGOVC, congratulations AGOVC for now launching your own TV station. We are proud of you. We encourage Ambazonians to watch AGOVC's TV channel. We ask that the TV channel again respects the principles of our liberation, which are 1, responsibility, 2, truth and facts, and 3, discipline. Let it not be like the ABC TV that spends time undermining other leaders, undermining the liberation struggle, and blackmailing people. I will be talking about the ABC TV, and I call on particularly Bohabet, and this is the first time I'm doing this. Bohabet, you need to examine yourself. You need to examine yourself. And if you doubt what I mean by you need to examine yourself, I want you, Bohabet, to write out a survey, ask people within your own constituency to honestly tell you who you are. You are a shadow of the Bohabet who was appointed as the spokesperson of this revolution. You are a shadow of the Bohabet who was called a frontline leader in this revolution. You are becoming a callous disgrace to the liberation of the people of the Southern Cameroons. You need to apologize. I'm talking to Bohabet. You need to apologize to the Amazonian Coalition for dialogue and negotiations. You, Bohabet, on ABC TV, said they were a La Republic outfit and that this conference was organized to push a federalist agenda. I don't have time to waste condemning Chris Ano or Sako Ekome. Bohabet, you are a colossal disgrace to the people of Amazonia who had believed you. I need you, Bohabet, to turn around. This is the first time I'm addressing you on TV, Bohabet. We need you to turn around because we had initially hoped you were the voice of this revolution. You must turn around. Stop the craziness about Swiss. We, the people of Amazonia, are not against Swiss. We are against anything that is fake. Bring us real solutions, we will support them. You bring us fake solutions, we will confront you, we will call you to order, and we will advise you. My dear people, our liberation is unstoppable. I address you today proud of the great works of the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations. And I'd like to assure our people that if you ever doubted our liberation, if you ever doubted the rationale behind our fight, if you ever doubted the authenticity, if you ever doubted the genuineness of our cause, go listen to the ACN conference from October the 30th to the 1st of November. You have it on Facebook. You have it on the SCBC channel. You will be blessed. You will be empowered. You will be fired up, and you'll get back on track. Last message for me for today. We would like to bring to the attention of the American government, to the attention of the government of the Netherlands, and to the attention of the Nigerian government and others, that they must be on high alert. The vassal state of French Cameroon, otherwise known as La République du Cameroon, has exported terrorism onto your shores. La République has exported terrorists onto your shores. The Vice President, Comrade Daphne Yerima's life is at risk. We have credible intelligence that La République has put terrorists to attack him. We must warn La République du Cameroon that if anything happens to the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Amazonia and Deputy Leader of our struggle, anything happens to him, we will hold your vassal state responsible. We equally want to tell La République du Cameroon that the attack on our brother, our comrade, one of the most vibrant activists in this struggle, the attack on Comrade Eric Tato by your terrorist paid agents in the US is highly condemnable, and we will make sure that those criminals and your government is held fully accountable. My dear people, never allow anybody define who you are. You are a proud Amazonian. This is the moment, this is the hour, this is the generation that will liberate our people. and usher in a country like none other. We must tell the Republic that we will be coming for the key perpetrators. We will be pushing very hard to get sanctions on that vessel state and on the cabal in Yaoundé, on the Tanganji, on Paul Biya, on Lelele Afrique, on Okele Bilian, on all of those that continue to kill our people. Your properties, we will make sure, bought by stolen tax money from that country abroad, we will make sure they get seized. We will make sure that you will stop buying champagne from France to spend during Christmas. We will make sure that you are dragged to the negotiation table. All we ask our people is to stay focused because our liberation is assured. It is total independence or liberation or resistance forever. God bless you. God bless Ambazonia. We shall be free. Amandla.
God bless you. God bless Ambazonia. This is that generation that will fight to free the nation of Ambazonia. Let La Republic know that we will never give up. These are the words of Comrade Milton Taka, the Secretary of Communication of the government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Fellow Southern Cameroonians, fellow viewers, this is your humble servant in whom I call myself the fearless Rebel John Pasho, coming to you today Monday on the hot seat with Comrade Milton Taka, who has passed a splendid and wonderful message to La Republic, to Ambazonians, and to the international community at large. My fellow Southern Cameroonians, fellow viewers, this program is one of the programs in Ambazonia in which you viewers, you Southern Cameroonians, you make sure you hold your leaders accountable. You make your leaders to be focused. You make your leaders to fight for your leaders to know that they are servants to you, not the other way around. Fellow Southern Cameroonians, fellow Ambazonians, I will go straight to discuss, because tonight we are going to have a discussion with Comrade Milton Taka. Comrade Milton Taka, in your presentation, you sent condolence message to our beloved brother and sisters that died in the massacre in Kumba that touched or that made Ambazonia to be in a state of trauma. We received a message from the Vice President as well, saying that there is an investigation going on by the interim government. How far has that investigation gone on, or how far are you people going with such investigation? Because to hear you people have in the interim government.
Again, revolutionary greetings, Comrade Don Pasho. Special greetings to my dear people on ground zero, to fellow Amazonians on ground one, fellow Amazonians on ground two, fellow Amazonians in the diaspora. It is hard to even want to think about what happened in Kumba. It is so bad. If there's any memory close to that again, it's either Gabo or Baby Mata. It is our responsibility as interim government to go to the bottom of this and make sure that the perpetrators of these heinous acts pay very dearly. We are very careful with our statements, and that's why you will notice that either myself or the vice president have a specific message that says, while it is evident that this kind of extreme levels of wicked acts have largely been the work of La République du Cameroon, we would prefer to make a final accusation when we have the facts on the ground. But our initial thoughts tell us the following. If this act was committed by, people within Meme, those people could either be La République du Cameroon, hooligans, disguised as, in quotes, Amber Boys. It could be the military, because the military has carried out those kind of exactions in their uniforms. There are mixed messages, whether the people came in civilian clothes or in uniforms. And if for any reason it was committed by any of we are saying our fight for the liberation of Amazonia is a fight for justice. That this is not a fight for justice only for the occupier when they attack us. It is a fight for justice for the parents, children, for the community of Fiango Kumba. So if for any reason, by any strand of an imagination, anybody close to us was part of this heinous crime, we will condemn, we will reject, and we will ensure that that person has the exactitude of the punishment that people that commit such terrorist acts should indeed. It's not in our mind. It's inconceivable that this kind of crime will be committed for many reasons. Number one is you would ask yourself, those who committed a crime, what do they stand to benefit? What does any Ambazonian stand to benefit if you move into a school? A crime of such magnitude. What would anybody in Kumba, or why would anybody in Kumba want to bring such amount of pain to your own people? Would you willingly go out and kill innocent children? There is no track record of Ambazonians attacking children in our struggle. We don't have it. So if our restoration forces have not been attacking children, why would they go massacre children? So the handwriting on the wall, and as every investigation is, you begin by having what you call initial lead or suspects. We suspect it is the handiwork of La République du Cameroon. And we suspect they're doing this because they want to inflict maximum pain on our people. The other thing is, they might have, and I use the word might because of the mixed messages, whether it's military uniform or civilian wear. If these guys were dressed in civilian wear, our people know that people who dress in civilian wears are Amber Boys. But we have seen a lot of La République military who now dress in civilian wear and carry machine guns in themselves and pretend around that they're ordinary citizens. We've seen some of them selling fish by the road. So you cannot then conclude that if people attack a facility, the fact that they are not dressed in military gear means that they are Ambazonian restoration fighters. That conclusion is not factual and cannot stand the test of facts anywhere. So we want, as a responsible government, to say, given the fact that La République what they did in Pinyin, in Moyoka, in Bali, in Mamfe, in Lebielem, in Garbu. It will not surprise us that this was ordered by Mr. Paul Biya's ministers or maybe Mr. Paul Biya himself. But we are doing very deep forensic investigations, and for almost all atrocities, La Republic initially refused, or like the unfortunate behavior happened in the zone, and eventually we came out with the facts. So we assure Amazonians that we will come out with the facts. We will tell our people exactly the way it is, and whoever was responsible for this terrorist act, for this heinous act, for this primitive act, will pay very dearly.
Thank you very much, Comrade Milton. La Republic and some naysayers, they are going out with messages saying that the Amazonian fighters, our restoration forces, carried out such gruesome act on our own kids, claiming we did that so as to stop schools or to put the law of school boycotts. The interim government, in which you are the spokesperson of this government, came out during school resumption and said parents should send their children to school where they see that there is security. The president of this interim government said our children should stay at home, and that is their price to pay for the independence of Southern Cameroon. And some other groups, I don't want to quote groups that you don't have any track records with them. I don't want to quote such groups. You, as the spokesperson of this interim government, what was the policy for school resumption in the Amazonian revolution during this period of school resumption?
There are two messages that we continue to pass across as the interim government. And those are the same two messages that the president echoed. I would need to make a clarification where there was a misinterpretation on the president's message. Over the last 3 years, the interim government has had a firm position that our liberation strategy is most certainly to conquer territory and lead our people. So wherever restoration forces have secured territory and can guarantee the security of our people, the interim government encourages the functioning of community schools. The interim government bans anybody getting into any school run by the occupier. No country in the world ever authorized its people to be fed the dogma of the occupier. So a first and very clear message is, parents, we transfer the responsibility of your children going to school into your hands. We want children to go to school, but we do not know how children can be going to school when bullets are flying over them. So if it is safe, and you know your child will come back alive, please send your child to school. I remember one of our very young activists in 2017. This is what he said. He said, Papa, La Republique there for all sides the key picking them. If you send your picking for school, they kill them. No talks will not be on you. Rather than for you for sending a picking for school, made a killer because La Republic, the key people them are random. Why you not just called the next day? He said in 2017. Now, we know that our revolutionary strategy gets to change. We have no appetite in keeping our children at home, but we don't equally have an appetite in sending our children to be slaughtered by the versatile terrorist state of French Cameroon. Comrade Sisiko Ayoktabe, the leader of our revolution, tweeted that the right to life is more important than the right to education. The right to life is more important than the right to education. And that is a fact. So he said, when international communities continue to say, you people are stopping children from going to school, let us ask the international community to look themselves in the mirror and ask who is actually stopping children from going to school. Is it French Cameroon or is it the people of Amazonia? Without a doubt, it is French Cameroon. Because if French Cameroon pulls out its brutal forces of occupation, who mostly use our schools and churches, places of worship, as their military base, the question of insecurity would have been removed. Every parent will be able to respect the first condition that says, if it is safe, send your children to school. Our children will go to school knowing there are no bullets. The President Sisiko Ayoktabe will have comfort that he will not, under the detention of the enemy, on a daily basis in their schools. I mean, just like a prophet of doom, before it was done, our children were massacred. A day or two afterwards, we then saw what happened in Tico and in Victoria. There was a pandemonium. Parents proved the president was right. When they heard the military had killed 2 young students again, parents were willing to break walls and pull their children out of school walls and take them home, because the right to life is more important than the right to education. We call on the international community to follow the resolutions of the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations Conference. The people of Amazonia are willing to work with the international community. We have been waiting on the table for you to pull La Republic, because peace is better than war. We did not declare war. War was brought on our people. Our people are being killed daily. Blood is flowing in our land daily. We want peace and we want our children to go to school. But our children will not go to school when the bullets continue to fly over their heads and when they continue to be massacred in their schools. So the international community must stop sending nice, soft diplomatic statements. I'm told in diplomacy, they call it soft diplomatic statements. Soft diplomatic statements don't work for brutal dictators like Paul Biya. You must be firm, you must be hard, you must get him feel the heat. When the World Bank and the IMF gives them money, when the government of the US, France, Britain, Russia, weapons, what do you expect them to do? To kill our people. The international community must pull Biya to the table. Let this senseless war end. Our illustrious leader, Mr. Fournier, clearly said that until we address the root causes, Biya will never win the war. So the solution to ending the crisis is not in bullets, it is in addressing the root causes. Comrade Pasho, I hope you've been.
Thank you very, very much, Comrade Milton. La Republic is the one stopping our kids from going to school. La Republic knows what to do. La Republic has to pull out the terrorist forces out of the territory of British Southern Cameroons, Amazonia, and La Republic has go to the negotiation table and sit with the people of Southern Cameroons to negotiate the terms and conditions of our separation. If not,
Absolutely.
our kids will not be able to go to school where bullets are flying all over their heads and where bullets kill them as if they are animals or they don't have value in life. All what those kids for in life was to be educated and nothing more. And when they went to school, their parents never saw them again. What a tragedy.
What a tragedy. What a tragedy.
Thank you very much, Comrade Milton Taka. We move to another segment of this program in which we are going to talk about the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation, the CDN conference. Comrade Milton, before I go to that question, many Ambazonians asked and even called Don Pasho to find out what happened that they did not see Comrade Milton participating in any of the panels or any of the panel of discussion in that conference.
Comrade Milton Taka is a rooted member of the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations. Leaders were represented. Once you see Vice President Daphne Yema, who can only go there after being authorized by the cabinet, it means Milton Taka was there. My leader was there, and once my want Ambazonians to plug into that. It is the responsibility of Ambazonians out of detention to make sure that allows. I believe that after the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation Conference, there is no better time than the best of Ambazonians to get together and work on the liberation of people. We need to have one policy position. If you look at the statistics from the Coalition for Dialogue, realize that in our difference, listening Ambazonians all agree on the restoration of action. And we do agree on that, which is the most important reason behind our fight. There should be no reason why
Thank you, Milton Taka. You say you are deeply rooted in the conference. I am somebody, I always hit the nail when it is hot. I always try to set the record straight because Don Pasho is one activist or one content provider of our SBC who makes Ambazonians believe that the revolution it's tomorrow.
begin with, I know Eric took us barrister at Lai, through John Saw. I'll call it barrister because I believe that for you to study, become a barrister, it requires sacrifices. Barrister, we don't know what to do, but I remember when the had decided to invite you to visit us. That is long before you betrayed the revolution. That's long before you came up with the conspiracies that rather uniting us really got to divide us badly. I said to you, and I'm going to what make is listen to messages on Equinox while look at you and answer if you're true to yourself. If you're true to yourself, good luck. Our patriotic Amazonian spirit doesn't allow us to use some of the words you guys use BBC TV. I'll leave that to conscience. I've got no time to go below the bell. I get advised by my leader that when you go low, you go high. And I'm going to stick to Christopher Ano, Chris Ano, who should indeed be a brother to me and one of my close associates in the liberation of our people. You will reckon, Comrade Pasho, that when Siko Itabe was deputy to Chris Ano, so by virtue of that, we worked together. At the time we worked together, we had the Department of Communication, clean, was committed to the Department of under Michael and Chris Ano, while I was his deputy. It did not blackmail, it did not backstab, it did not lie, it did not divide our people. It didn't do all the things that Chris Ano doing now. Brother Chris Ano, when we had the meeting with the artist, I asked you it voice. You have over time used that voice to destroy this revolution so badly. You enjoy leaving La Republic and attacking your own. You have attacked Professor Anyangwe. You have attacked Honorable Weber. You have attacked Sisiku. You now have turned your attention to for dialogue sessions. Anybody who doesn't answer yes sir to you or your group, you take pride in dragging like-minded people like yourself to your ABC TV, and you undermine their families, you undermine their sacrifices in this struggle, and you lie in broad daylight. You call them things they are not. Do you know what it means, Chris Ano? If you sitting there is a true restorationist and somebody decides to call you a federalist just because they have sat in that little black room and decided we want to destroy this, I'm asking you for the sake of your mother who spent time, unfortunately, in La Republique du Cameroon detention. I'm asking you for the sake of your brother who spent so much time sleeping in the bush. I'm asking you for the sake of all our people who have been killed. You need to stop what you're doing on ABC TV. ABC TV has been a major distraction to our revolution. I want you to take note that I'm careful. I've not attacked you. I'm very Ano. And this is the first time I am addressing you this way on national TV. Chris Ano, you will remember, barely months ago, I wrote to you and I said, Chris, I believe that you and I can work together to bring some unity. You and I can work together to ensure that the tensions are quelled down, that the tensions are reduced, that will stop this senseless fight in the so-called government. Take note, I said so-called government because sometimes we forget that you as Chris Ano, if you call yourself Secretary of Communication, your real responsibility is to spend sleepless nights for the sake of the suffering masses of the people. It is to sacrifice time and defend the revolution. The position minister has no relevance because unless it's been taken from the struggle, you should be contributing money to the struggle, contributing time and effort. So what is this whole nonsense of position and government and nonsense about? I have always believed, and you know, that once you give in a position, you are called to service. You are a servant of the people. So if there's one thing that must be corrected on ABC TV, let ABC TV leave. We have no gain in killing ABC TV. But can you stop killing the revolution? And can you focus on fighting La Republic? Whatever you call him whatever names, but allow every leader in this revolution, whether it be Siku, whether it be Ayaba, whether it be John Baakuru, whom Bohebe now enjoys attacking, Never Fontem and all the rest. What is your problem? What is your problem? That's it. Am I still on air?
Yes.
Great leaders in this CV, in this revolution have a personal CV. Their responsibility is to mobilize the masses. It is to build a movement. I want to see Bohabet building more. I want to hear of Morris having proper town hall meetings in Johannesburg, South Africa, where I am, in London, in Houston. I want to hear that Morris is raising money in South Africa to send to detainees, is raising money in Canada to send to refugees in Nigeria, is raising money in Dallas, in France, to send to our restoration forces. I don't want to get a Bohabet, somebody whom I, much, much younger than him, who grew up in the days of the SDF, having so much respect for him. Somebody whom once I, Milton Taka, was appointed to take over from him, I said no. I said no, I cannot take over from Bohabet because those shoes are too big for me. That's the Bohabet I thought I knew. That is the Bohabet I thought I would see in this revolution. That's the Bohabet I thought will lead our people in front. You really have to stop. A younger brother talking to you. Somebody who had, I don't have any longer, who had so much respect for you. I want you to take note, I've not called you comrade. I want you to be very, very confident. And Bohabet, I want you to remember that when the first conclave ended in Nigeria, the one Ambazonian who called you from Nigeria was me. I called you at 3 a.m. American time. That was the first time we spoke. I was so proud I spoke to Bohobet. My brother Bohobet, you need to change course. I want to see you looking to where there are solutions in this revolution and joining hands to find solutions to the liberation of our people. I want to see you calling him as a brother and addressing that behind the scenes, not on TV. I am addressing you on TV because I think it's too much. It is really too much. Even when you ask questions that are not related to you calling names, you call names. Leaders don't call names. You can go back and trace my record on SCBC for the last 4 years. I have never called your name, Comrade Ayaba, Comrade Akwanga, negatively, not once. This is not that like I support everything you do, but we have the responsibility to inspire our people. You cannot go onto what you call national TV and day after day, you're not talking about the terrorists killing our children. You're blackmailing other people. It has got to stop. This is a time when we must work together to find solutions, to collaborate so that the international community that will not be another South Sudan. Your actions make us look like South Sudan, and Comrade Bohobet, you've got to stop. As for people like Patience Abieno, she's a woman, she delivers children. I've got no comment to make.
Thank you very much, Comrade Milton Taka. Thank you very much for that message that you have sent out to this group of people. When you talk to this, when you look at this group of people, they were not in the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations Conference. They were not there, but we had the likes of John Bakuro, Dr. Choayaba, Mom Sivi of British Southern Cameroons, Vice President Abni Yerima. They had a panel in which they sat and discussed together. In that conference, something caught my attention in that panel of discussion.
Yeah.
They all acknowledged that they are ready to work with each other, no matter what has transpired in the past. Looking at these people talking like this, if they sit and bring us something to work together with, and those who go behind and manipulate and lie, tell lies about people, bring all sorts of conspiracies about people. That is the likes of the Boheberts, the Sako Ecomes. What do you think we have to do from the message that came out also from our leader of the revolution, President Sisi Kutabeyo? How can we incorporate such people to collaborate and work together? Meanwhile, they are not willing. They always look for faults to tarnish the revolution. How can we work with such people?
You see, ability to ensure at all pains that we eventually get collaboration running. We will continue to work very hard. You can see that the interim government did not make a mistake to have collaborated with the members of the Tripartite Alliance, the consortium, and the Amazonian Governing Council. The mere fact that all of these organizations were present at the Amazonian Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation International Conference tells you that we put our people first and that we believe that we need to work with others, because the coalition did not contact the Tripartite team. They contacted organizations independently. We had a deliberation in cabinet, and we agreed members move to different committees and work, because the work is for Ambazonia. So this is what I believe, and this is what I have read from other struggles. This is the hour for collaboration. Our people have demanded we must collaborate. The international community has demanded we must collaborate. So we will do our best to ensure that those that are not working for La Republique will be brought into the collaboration house. Those that are working for La Republique will be advised to leave the struggle. We will isolate them, we will name them, and we will shame them. I must say that liberation is not drinking coffee. It is difficult business. We need sometimes to be very firm and very hard. But I must again add, no Amazonian must ever be unjustly accused. So if we do say somebody is working for La Republique, we must have evidence which is undisputed. What we call irrefutable evidence. Let us stop the craziness of calling people blacklegs, calling people sellouts when we imagine things. So as Ambazonians, as Anglo-Saxons, the principle is you are not guilty until it is proven beyond reasonable doubt. I emphasize on that. Until it's proven beyond reasonable doubt. So Brother Bohabed was wrong when he said the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation was organizing the conference to hand us over to La Republique in a federation. And I challenge Bohabed, if he believes that he had any reason to make those statements. And when I talk of reasons, I'm not interested in this black room gossips and planning to kill people. Bohabed must bring out irrefutable facts. If Bohabed brings out irrefutable facts, I, Milton Taka, on SCBC, I will apologize to any leader will do. But if Bohabed cannot bring irrefutable evidence, take note, I'm not interested in the likes of Fru John Saw. Fru John Saw has made himself more or less toilet tissue in the revolution. I'm hoping Anu, Chris Anu, and the likes will change. But Bohabed was the engine room behind the negativity. And I'm challenging Bohabed. Bohabed should present his evidence. If he can't present his evidence, I'm calling Bohabed to apologize to the people of Amazonia. Take note that our people, great leaders, who've sacrificed so much time, effort, money, and so on in the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation, were not doing this for themselves. They were doing this for Amazonia. And once you try to fight and kill a good initiative, you have an honorable thing that once you realize that you messed up, you should apologize to the nation.
Thank you very much, Comrade Milton Taka. You have talked about something here that many of the Federalists, they came out very, very vocal on this, that we, the restorationists, are doing something very, very bad on them. They feel not belonging to the same southern countries that we are fighting for. Why? Because we have tagged them with the tag name Blacklegs. Blacklegs, and making them feel uncomfortable amongst our own people. They are even afraid to go back home to ground zero to take stock of the humanitarian crisis that have befallen our people, because our people have called them blacklegs, have tagged them betrayals and all sorts of names. that their views of being federalists does not take out the Southern Cameroon spirit or the Southern Cameroon's blood in them. What do you have to say when it comes to these people complaining to us in such a manner?
What did they call themselves? Did they call themselves? Comrade Don Pasho, it is very sad, very, very sad that a party like the SDF that was formed to liberate the people of the Southern Cameroons suddenly becomes a tool used by the oppressor to oppress the people of the Southern Cameroons. History tells us that when our forebears left Nigeria in 1954, they left as one, they came into Boya as one, they formed a government as one, and Nigeria was paralyzed. It is funny that educated people, in fact, on the wall, how can you call yourself a Cameroonian and deny your Southern Cameroon origin? Where in international law do you get a justification for such abysmal thought this hour, this time in history? You see, why I was really happy with the coalition for bringing this unionist and federalist was because in 2017 and early 2018, there was a philosophy within the communication department that we have the responsibility to make unionists and federalists born agains. The one thing we can never from any of these people, including Atang and G, is that they are Southern Cameroonians. Some of them, unfortunately, don't know. So we have to continue to educate them. There are many Southern Cameroonians who at the beginning truly believed that federation was the only option. This is because they had not known the devil we're dealing with. But once La Republic burned houses in their communities or their own house, once La Republic killed people in their communities or in their own communities, then the reality of who La Republic was then dawned on them. And for the first time, they then realized that those of us who are fighting for the liberation are not terrorists. We are liberators. We are restorationists. They began to read about what we're doing. They began to listen to our messages. And the more they listened to our messages, the more they became born-again Christians. The more they became born-again patriotic or restorationists, the more they realized they've been dancing the wrong dance. It is crazy for anybody born of Southern Cameroon for federation. You can't an occupier to give you something lesser than what you deserve. It is important, and the Coalition for Dialogue Conference made it much clearer, that we should know that we have a nationality, that there are boundary treaties between Southern Cameroons and La Republique, that we are two countries, two distinct countries, and that La Republique will never have a right over the Southern Cameroons unless we give them permission. It is our land of birth. It is rooted in international law. The coalition thought, let them come and get. I believe John Frundi got the gospel better now. I believe that Barrister Bala got the gospel. I believe Munzu did. If they didn't, let's keep preaching the gospel. But we must warn them that the more they preach the federalist and unionist gospel, the more they join the occupier to kill our people. That qualifies them as killers. Why is it that some chiefs are still in their palaces? Why is it that some Ambazonian SDF leaders in those days are still living amongst the people? That is because they hear what the people say and they speak what the people want. You cannot be a leader without your people. I advise these elder brothers of mine to please feel pain for our mothers who've lost so many children. Feel pain for our fathers who've lost so many children. Lost so many people. We never started this revolution in 2016 believing that we're going to lose one person. I got so deep into this revolution when Abu Bala and Barrister Fontaine were locked up. And when they came out, I know very well that the territory was prepared for Bala to lead this revolution because he had said it on Equinox that we're asking for federation today. There will be a day that when you want to give, will not take it again because you say you don't want to talk about federation. And you and I know, Comrade Don Pasho, that the day Barrister Bala was arrested was the day the restoration of our statehood was finally born. You cannot then turn against your own word. I, Milton Taka, the day I turn against the fight for the liberation of our people from this earth, one thing that will never happen. I will fight and fight and fight as a foot soldier of a revolution until our people lift the Ambazonian flag in Boya. And that will happen. Nobody can stop it.
Thank you very much, Comrade Milton Taka. Thank you very much for these wonderful words that you are giving to the people of Ambazonia. I believe our people are very much inspired from the comments I get on Facebook. And I will plead now with the technical department, Ogana Fao, behind the scenes, to please touch us the call button, put on the call lines so that the next 30 minutes to receive calls, so for Comrade Milton to at least have a rest because he has so many other things to do. But let us receive calls from our people watching from Ground Zero and even those in the diaspora. If you have any worries that you want Comrade Milton to clear, you call in and make your points. We don't condone with insults. The only thing that will make us to drop your call is when you call in and you're making your comments, no matter which group you fall or you align with, we don't have any problem. This is national TV and we accept everybody. We make sure we accommodate each and everybody. Our forefathers used to say even a madman on the street also has his own story to say. And that is why, as our father, His Excellency Shishiku Tabayo, said, we should listen to everybody, no matter who he or she is. When you are calling, please move away from your TV set, or you put down the volume right to 0 and you listen only on your phone, or you move away from your laptop, your computer, your iPad, whatever device you are using in watching the program, to me telephone so that we will be able to have a good conversation. Comrade Milton, when you listened to what the president himself presented in his presentation to the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation, one thing that struck me was when he said to the international community that there is an acting genocide going on in southern Cameroon. This problem is not a problem that the people have decided to pick up arms. This is a political problem that they, the international community, and especially he quoted the United Nations, that they have the rights to solve these problems because they solve a problem. What do you have to say to such a brilliant speech from your own Vice President?
Vice President Daphne Yerima spoke for the Ambazonian people. He was meticulous. He made it clear that the liberation of our people did not start in 2016, that over the last 50 years, our people have done everything to get La Republic on the table. In fact, in 1962, when it became evident that La Republic was planning to do the unthinkable, Fonchan, the leaders of those days, tried to call the attention of La Republic to Cameroon to heed to the call, but they would not win. And in 1972, when it became evident that the final plan to swallow our people was being executed, they tried in vain. You would remember that Dr. Bernard Fonlong and the rest were rounded up with military guys, machine guns on the residents where they were, and they had to take a strategic decision to say, if we try to fight now, we will all be killed. Let us postpone this fight to the next generation. Comrade Don Pasho, how else can you define a genocide? A genocide happens when one group of people decide to extinct or wipe out another group of people. What did Mama Apia do? What did Christian Akum do? What did Baby Mata do? What did this poor kid do? All brothers, including the restoration forces. None of them deserves to die. None of them deserves to die. La Republic killed those we saw on social media in Bali today. How many more have been killed in many places? Because we know when they march in to kill, they switch on lights, they switch on telecommunication infrastructure. They have associates in the international community, multinational companies. They have countries that are coalition partners who support them financially, give them military aid, and so on. The interim government stands with the people of Amazonia, thanks the Vice President for echoing a sentiment that our people hold very strongly, that there has been an active genocide taking place in Amazonia from the 1st October 2018. We remind the international community that when Rwanda happened, the international community came up with never again policy position. And the never again policy position held a view that another genocide will never be allowed to take place again anywhere in the world. When Rwanda happened, the United Nations gave birth to R2P, right to protect. Right of the international community to use the different instruments to protect a people like the Southern Cameroons. It's unthinkable for the international community to expect an occupier, French Cameroon, under a dictator, Paul Biya, who will be 91 years old by the time this term of office ends, to protect a people whom he declared in France he's been working very hard to assimilate. So there is a genocide taking place. It's not only been said by the people of the Southern Cameroons, it has been said by rights organizations, by human rights movements and activists, and by many leaders of the world. We call on the United Nations. We call on the Security Council. We call on the African Union, who's not trusted by people. From the statistics, the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation, 3% of Ambazonians believe that the African Union can help us in any way. We call on all good people of the world to come to the aid of the people of the Southern Cameroons, to force Mr. Biya, who declared war on us, to declare a ceasefire. For Mr. Biya, whose planned assimilation has failed, and he knows it has failed, to stop military occupation, know that the military option will never work. If anything, the Coalition for Dialogue Yaoundé again, and to get them to the negotiation table so that from the root causes, we can have a pathway to peacefully negotiating the end of this senseless union, peaceful separation. We do not build a wall similar to the wall between West and East Germany between the two countries.
Thank you very much, Comrade Milton Taka. Our people are in a very, very critical moment at this period. We think that it is really, really a time for everybody to look at what is happening to ground zero. But just if we are just beating and chewing words, to the extent in which they on the ground use the statement that we don't value their lives. Comrade, the interim government is working. What message do you have to those on the ground at this trial moment? And what message do you have to?
In this revolution, the diaspora, and when I say the diaspora, I want to be very clear, and I want to put it correctly, that the problem is some people in the diaspora. It would be very unfair and unwise of me to describe everybody in the diaspora as the problem. We have very many genuine, patriotic, great sacrificial leaders in the diaspora who over the years sacrifice. Many people in the diaspora on a monthly basis have a fixed tax directed to the struggle from their salaries. They have never failed. I know many people in the diaspora who spend 8 to 10 hours on the liberation struggle on a daily basis. My appeal to our fellow comrades in the diaspora is that for us to win this war and win it quick, there is a responsibility that the diaspora must play. We have done that are right over the last many years. We must take stock of the things we have done that are wrong. And that begins with me. We must look at our brothers and sisters in the face and say, I am sorry. We must look at brothers and sisters in the face and say, I can't do this alone. I thought I could grandstand, I could backstab, but I now realize that I was only being a fool. I now realize 2 years or so, I've been on the same spot. It is true, and even our friends in the international community have told me many times that we must get together. We must work together, and we must talk with one voice. My dear leaders, my dear fellow Ambazonians, for me, every Ambazonian is a leader. Let us give peace a chance. On this national TV, I'm sorry. I say I'm sorry because unless you are a sellout, unless you are a La Republic agent, it's okay for you and I to differ. It's most importantly right for us to work together. Let us forget about positions. Hear from me. They're all internet positions. Those positions have no value. if we can't get a liberated homeland. Let us replace to our comrades in the diaspora. There is no need for an IG if we will not have a free homeland. There is no need for an AGC if we will not have a free homeland on AGOVC. There's no need for the consortium, for APLM, for SCAPO, for can't you see that this grandstanding and positioning is killing us? Let us pay the flag first. Then our organizations can come a distant second. And we can come a far, far, far distant step. If all of us choose to put nation first, we will do what I think we should do. 3 things in the diaspora. 1, work together. Regular meetings, physical or on Zoom. 3, raise money for the liberation struggle. And 4, champion diplomacy. And that means UN offices, French offices, British offices, and so on. Fellow comrades, we can do this. We did it in 2017. Poison came in May, June 2018. We can do it because we are all Ambazonians. No matter how much you and I fight, I cannot take away Ambazonian citizenship. You can't take away mine. But we are all refugees if we don't work together. Can't you see that this is hurting us? It's hurting our families, it's hurting our communities, it's hurting our nation. Let us collaborate. Collaboration we need, not collaboration we want. And to you on Ground Zero, we want to thank you for your resistance. I want to say this. We say this in cabinet. We talk about this all the time. We feel your pain so much. You face anxiety. You do not know who next will be, who next. On a daily basis, you are at the front. We don't want our people to be on harm's way. We don't want our people to live that kind of life. We don't know if tomorrow will meet you. We are not happy. Our children are not going to school. We are not happy. Your house, we should spend so much money building. We don't have tenants. We are happy you cannot make money because of one challenge of revolution. We have a lot of pain. Over and above this pain, we thank you so much for your resistance. Colonizer, apologist, the terrorists in Kuma, they asked our mothers, no one know them, mommy, they know, we don't know them. You know what they were saying? Mommy, they were saying, public, stop pretending. You are the killers. You are the killers. I remember going to the market when they told no go no, we're not market Monday no. Maybe they said no. That is because, and to the public, our people suffered for 6 decades. People suffered for 60 years. Stop deceiving yourself. When a mother goes to the farm and plantains, when that child comes back and that child cannot find a job, that child becomes a farmer in their pocket. How do you believe that any of these mothers will trust you? When the year so-called government has created a government school and you cannot even put one brick, or you cannot pay one, the community have to build a school and pay the teacher. So the bottom line is Ground Zero will feel your pain quickly as possible, But we must stay focused and resolute until every inch of our land is seized, and anything that has any semblance of land republic is smoked out of the land of the people of the Southern Cameroons.
Thank you very much, Comrade Milton Taka. Thank you for acknowledging coming out today to your people. Our people have been really longing to hear from you. I believe that with this message that you have sent out to the people today, it is going to change most of the worries that they have been on the ground. Thank you very much for coming out with this powerful message. Again, today, we are facing some difficulties with the telephone lines. This was your last word that you spoke to the people. You spoke very deep to the people on the ground and to those of us in the diaspora. Fellow Southern Cameroonians, fellow Ambazonians, this was the hot seat with SOS Comrade Milton Taka, who came out today with some of the policies of the IG when it comes to the just end conference of the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations. And he also talked about our children that died in Kumba. He talked mostly on those who see themselves that it is either them or the highway. He gave them some words that either they choose to change and follow the train of liberation, or they continue with their La Republic tendencies, in which we can testify that they are not fighting for the liberation of the people of Southern Cameroons. My fellow Southern Cameroonians, fellow Ambazonians, we on SCBC, we come up always to testify and give you people just what you need. We give you the truth and facts, and we make sure that we make you to understand where our liberation struggle is heading to. We will be coming again on Wednesday to bring another great program. We call it Voices from Ground Zero. In you on the ground to call in and bring your worries. I report always every week. As soon as I finish from the programs on Wednesday, I report to your Vice President, Comrade Dabney Yerima, on what you people want and what you people and how you people feel when it comes to your liberation. Thank you very much, Ground Zero, for standing the test of time. Thank you very much for those in the diaspora who are fighting so hard to see that our freedom is truly granted to us. And thank you to those of us that have decided to be the mouthpiece of the people of Ambazonia. But if you want to be a mouthpiece of the people of Ambazonia, be that mouthpiece that will bring peace when the people really need peace, and that will quench the fire whenever there are flames going on. Once again, I want to thank Ogana Fao, who is behind the scenes making sure that our production is perfect. And we want to thank the SCBC team in general for doing this job for us, so that